Hello, my name is Hannah Scully and I'm coming from Durham Sixth Form Centre, where I am a teacher of visual arts. I teach A-level art, craft and design, foundation and Gold Arts Award. I'm also a practicing artist and a member of Northern Print, and I'm on the steering group for NEATN, the North East Art Teacher and Educators Network. Okay, so I'm going to be talking about post-16 arts provision and the significance of cultural partnerships. I'll be speaking from the perspective of a member of staff at Durham Sixth Form and all of the experiences that we've had and all of the really positive partnerships that we've had as well. And hopefully this will be useful for everyone. So just to give you a little bit of context, we're a very large sixth form centre and there's not very many sixth form centres in the country, and we're certainly one of the largest. So we just have 16 to 19-year-olds, A-levels and some vocational courses. We have 1,800 sixth formers at the minute, plus our foundation students. So it's a very big group. It's a very big school. It doesn't often feel like that though, as everyone's got different timetables and we've got quite a significant campus, and we're lucky that the art department has their own kind of building as well. We have students come and join us from across County Durham and from across the North East from 60 different feeder schools, and we have around 30 A-levels and 20 vocational courses to choose from. We became Ofsted Outstanding in 2017, and yeah, we're really proud of what we do. We have three main faculties. So we have science, technology and maths. We have the arts and media faculty, and we have business, English and history as well. We have a whole range of different subjects that our students can choose from, and I'll just talk to you a little bit about our faculties. So we have 5 arts A-levels, and you can see our visual arts centre pictured in the background. Art, craft and design is my subject. We also have graphic design, fine art, fashion and textiles and photography. We're very lucky, we have some great facilities and resources, which has led to us having quite big class sizes as well. I think there's 20 plus students in most classes. We've got a dark room, we've got kilns facilities, ceramics, we've got drawing tablets as well. So again, we're very fortunate to be a really well facilitated space. We also have the foundation level 4 course, which we deliver in visual arts and media, and we usually have about 25 students stay on to pursue that qualification with us. We have the Gold Arts Award as well, which I'm sure many of you will know about, which is a great bonus qualification. It's an optional extra for our students to sign up to. Some of them might have already done the bronze or silver award before, but it's not a requirement. So some students will take up the Gold Arts Award, having not done the Arts Award before. And you do get 16 UCAS points for doing the gold. And for those of you who are familiar with Arts Award, you'll know there's a lot of partnerships with cultural institutions that are really kind of important for that qualification. Work experience, trips, reviews, things like that. So we usually have about 5 to 10 students a year who will take on that qualification. We also offer performing arts. We're fortunate to have a theatre space in school. So we have the Performing Arts BTEC, we have drama and theatre studies at A-level, and we also have the music A-level. We recently opened a digital media centre in school, complete with a cinema room and a TV studio. So we offer a media studies and film studies A-level, creative media production and TV and film, games design as well, which are all very popular courses. So again, you know, we have a very large creative faculty, and we're very lucky to work in the place that we do and with the students that we have as well. What I'd like to do is speak to you a little bit about the structure of what we do, the things that we go through with the students, our projects, our curriculum, and where our kind of creative partnerships can fit in with this. So when we start year 12, so the first year at sixth form, we're very aware that we've got students from 50, 60 different schools, and lots of them will have had a very different experience at GCSE. Some of them might not have been able to take art at GCSE, and some of the students will have had a really rich and varied experience. Some students might have been very restricted and have not many hours of art, or been, you know, kept to using just pen and pencil and might not have tried lots of our different mediums. So we have a skill building portfolio, and that runs from September up until about February. We offer mini projects, and we set a brief. Each project is around 3 weeks, although each of the specialisms can vary slightly. And these students, they work to the brief, they research the theme, whether it's architecture or some branding, if you're doing graphics, or self-portraiture. There's a whole different range of briefs that we work through, and students are expected to research and also look at artists and start to research those as well. They'll create artist responses, and they'll be working either in sketchbooks, or some of the students might be working digitally as well. We really encourage a lot of experimentation, and the students at the end will have group critiques so that they're able to really get used to speaking out loud about their work. This project is kind of brought to a close in the spring with a Year 12 exhibition. This is a really key point in the year. It's a really nice point where all of the students collaborate. They get into groups, they have to curate their own exhibition. We do have an exhibition space which they can use. They have to solve problems, make sure everyone's happy, work together, create a catalogue, and really curate their own exhibition across all 5 A levels into one space, which can be a bit of a squeeze. Oh, this is my class, Year 12 last year. So a lot of this work is leading towards the Component 1 coursework in Year 13. So we have a really nice research journal stage in Year 12. And this is a point in which we do a lot of trips out to galleries, libraries, archives, cultural organisations, and we really encourage projects around this time of year as well. So again, this is around the springtime. The students have a research journal. So alongside their actual coursework units, they will have this journal, which could be physical or digital, and we really encourage them to really absorb everything around them. We'll do sketching kind of field trips, research trips, and lots of classroom-based activities as well. We do a lot of planning, mind mapping, and research. We do an art history project where students do a presentation and create a timeline. We look at artists, developing knowledge, researching, different genres and time periods, whether it's traditional, modern, or contemporary artists. And we're also embedding a lot of information about equality, diversity, and inclusivity as well as part of our curriculum. We encourage students to make a lot of test pieces, try things out, experiment, develop, and really kind of do things independently as well. So go out and find their own resources to work with as well. So as we start this work in the end of Year 12, ready for Year 13, this is the Component 1. So this is 60% of the A-level grade, and it's the coursework. It's a personal investigation, which means the students can choose anything they want at all to be their project. Obviously, we give them some guidance, and it's a really great thing that the students have kind of the freedom to choose whether they're interested in. So when we're doing the research journal stage and students have been off to see exhibitions or meet artists or go to libraries and access all of this information, that is to really kind of stimulate this personal investigation that they will be working on for the next 8 or 9 months, actually. So the coursework goes all the way from the end of Year 12 up until the last Friday in January, and then their second component starts, and that is an exam unit. So at this point, they'll get an exam paper, and they'll have 12 questions to choose from. They choose one as a starting point, and then they've got several months to create a body of work, and their final piece is produced in the exam, which is controlled environment. So they have 15 hours to make a piece of work. So some of the problems, I guess, that we're facing as teachers currently, and the students as well are facing, is obviously there's a lot to squeeze in, especially A-level. It's really, we only have them for 18 months, and we have all of this skill building and coursework and exam to fit in. This is alongside all of the usual things like UCAS, and it's very much high stakes. We've got students' futures here, and we need to be helping everyone as much as possible. People's grades are really going to dictate sometimes where they can go. It is high stakes. We're still recovering from the knock-on effect from COVID. Students are coming to us having never touched 3D stuff, having had very little experience using scissors and glue sometimes, depending on where they've come from. And there really is a knock-on effect with students' dexterity sometimes their confidence in decision making. And obviously there's a mental health kind of crisis going on with our young people as well. So there's lots of things that are ongoing for us to think about. Other things that are on our mind. So obviously as teachers, we could be expecting a call from Ofsted anytime. We had our inspection in 2017, so we're well overdue a visit, which we have to kind of be prepared for. There's lots of marking to do. The students have got lots of homework to do. There's bonus things going on, like the UCAS applications, students doing Arts Award, students kind of processing their feedback, but also us doing our inputs for data and working these things out. We have well-being to worry about, safeguarding, all those things. And so really there's a lot ongoing all at once that we need to kind of balance each week. So when we're speaking about the extra and additionality, we as teachers, we love to have school trips, we love to have workshops, we love for our students to be involved with artists, organisations, to be able to get out and get these experiences, or to have access to these things in schools as well. And obviously, you know, there's a lot of positives for our students. So when we're going out on trips, we're having workshops, or we have projects and partnerships. These are all, you know, these have huge benefits, which I'll go through in a second. We also have an artist residency program at our school, which we're very fortunate to have. So we'll have 2 artists per academic year come into school and work with our students. We organise things like student mentorships, and so students are able to, the older students can come and mentor the younger ones. And we have after school clubs wherever possible, mostly run by students or staff, sometimes run by external partners as well. We have a lot of university talks, and we'll invite a lot of institutions into our school to share their opportunities and to speak to our students. So in terms of additionality, all of this is hugely beneficial to our students and to our centre. All of this contributes greatly to our advocacy for the subject. As we know, the creative subjects are sometimes in decline. The amount of students taking up creative subjects in schools and the amount of time that schools are able to dedicate to our subjects. So for us to be able to advocate for, you know, the importance of these creative subjects and the value of them and progression, all of these projects and things really help us with that. Social mobility is a really big one to discuss as well, whether it's confidence for students to be able to work with practitioners they might not have access to, whether it's networking, whether it's having access to going places, seeing things, doing things that they might not be able to. Sometimes bringing the projects and the artists to the students in school really opens up a whole world to a lot of these guys who might not have, you know, access to any of this at home or wherever they're from. Opportunities for these guys, you know, obviously is amazing, and whether it goes towards their UCAS, their CV, or their sort of self-confidence as well. And so we really can't undervalue that. It helps to raise the profile of our school, our centre, our department, and again of the arts as well. I spoke a little bit about confidence, but really for a lot of these students, speaking as part of projects or speaking to practitioners, again, is amazing for them to be able to have the confidence to work with others, to work with creative people, professionals and artists. This is all part of their sort of life skills. So I've included a little bit of information from the Cultural Learning Alliance, which I've linked below. And you can see the kind of fluctuations in the take-up of GCSE arts entries. As the population's gone up, there has been some increase. And especially in the last couple of years, we're really pleased to have seen a bit of an increase. You'll see that subjects like D&T, design technology, are really suffering. And there's been a dramatic decrease there. Also music as well has been very much kind of suffering. You can see in A-level, there has been an overall drop in the last couple of years, but a slight increase, I guess, last year. And again, you can really see some quite shocking statistics about the uptake of some of our creative subjects. Cultural Learning Alliance has got some really useful resources and infographics to have a little look at if you've not accessed that before. I definitely recommend having a bit of a browse. So I'm going to speak a little bit about some of the partnerships that we have or have had, and some things that have worked really well, and some ways to really forge a creative and successful partnership. So you can see lots of examples here. We've worked with a lot of universities, we've worked with a lot of cultural organisations, we've worked with a lot of small kind of one-off events or kind of programs, and I've got some examples just to kind of go through. So we are very much involved with Lumiere every year, and this is always an amazing project to be involved in. Obviously, we're based in Durham City, and so that works really well for us. But here's a few reasons why this partnership works really well for us. So there is always a really good timescale and structure. The organisers will often give us lots of notice and get in touch and give us a very clear timescale of what is kind of needed and when that's by, whether it's, you know, we've got this artist who's making an installation and wants some images from students, and they're quite often very flexible to our timetables. We're unable to drop everything and clear out huge amounts of time within our timetables because we have obviously lots of classes coming and going in different rooms. So the flexibility that they provide is really great. They have really clear communication, clear outcomes from sessions, and an ambitious end outcome. So there's always an end goal that's very clear to us and to the students. Obviously, the students and families can get very much involved and go and see the work. The students love working with artists. And again, all of this extra kind of volunteering, if the students have put themselves forward, can go towards their UCAS, their Arts Award, or their foundation kind of portfolios as well. As the Lumiere is a biannual event, then there is a fallow year each year, every other year, which allows time for a bit more planning in advance. We've worked with them a number of times now, and we know that we really value the outcomes, and we've got a great deal of trust with Artichoke as well. So that's really good. So Teresa Easton, who's an artist, activist and printmaker in the Northeast, recently worked with us on an anti-racism project, which was really, really successful and really great. So from the offset, it was going to be a 6-week project, regular sessions, regular time. Students knew exactly what to expect and where to come after the first session, which had a lot of an introduction. We find that if we have a series of things that are like different times, different places, then the students can, the attendance can suffer a little bit. The resources that we used were for students. All students were invited to take part. It wasn't just like an art student thing. This was a whole school workshop that everyone was invited to. There was lots of interactive activities. There was different speakers each week, so it wasn't necessarily the same people delivering content each week, which was great. There was a final outcome of making a collaborative zine, which again was fab, and the students were able to go and see the zine be shared at a couple of events actually at the Open Studios, late shows, and it's been published and printed, and the school has a few copies as well. So again, a very clear time-bound project that was really accessible to everyone as well. We'd hosted that after school to get as many students as possible to come and get involved. It did link to a lot of students' projects as well. So students who had chosen to explore discrimination and prejudices within their personal investigations, they were able to choose to come to this specifically to support their artworks. You can see a couple of news articles here that have been published by the school. This is really celebrating some of the partnership work that we've done. So the anti-racism workshops on the left, and also our Big Draw annual event on the right, which we organise alongside the Northeast Art Teacher and Educator Network. And the Culture Bridge No Filter project, I just wanted to have a little nod to that as well. It was really, really well communicated, clear time frame, again, really flexible for our students to come along and get filmed and speak about the project. Basically, we had the artist in residence who had created a collaborative exhibition, which was partially funded by Culture Bridge Northeast, and the students were able to really, really work with the artist and the exhibition, and the No Filter project was creating a short film that celebrated this work. And again, these guys were very flexible to the timetable of the school. We had a poetry slam event with the Forge, which was great. Again, it was a clear time frame. kind of able to be flexible for our timetable. We worked with the foundation students and we had a very clear outcome. This actually had a hybrid of online and in-person activity, which was great, as we were able to have initial online briefings and sharing of videos, and then a lot of in-person activity with the students, and then a final kind of video showing. So those are some really good examples there of things that we've done before and what's worked really well for us. I think in terms of the key successes, obviously, students very busy, teachers have got loads going on, and we're really, really pleased to work with projects that do have clear communication and a clear kind of time frame. So everything kind of laid out in an email with a clear kind of end goal as well. So this is what we're going for. This is the plan, and this is the time frame, and this is what we're going for. Preparation by the organisations as well can really, really support, but also for us, if there's things that we need to prepare in advance, then having plenty of notice for us to do things can absolutely be done to ensure that things run smoothly. If there's any links to the curriculum, whether it's skill building with students, research, or students are able to link anything to their projects, that can work really well. We've had some great workshops where we've gone along to universities and the students have been able to take an image that they've been able to create work from and then apply that to their personal investigations. So students are always very, very excited and invested in workshops that they can link to their interest and their passion. Making sure things are age appropriate as well. As a sixth form, we do have some very mature students, and we have been involved in workshops before which have felt a little bit kind of secondary school, and you'll see our sixth formers roll their eyes a bit if they feel like they're being talked down to. So making sure everything's super age appropriate as well. Clear outcomes, I think I mentioned. Future links for our network. So we love working with people again and again, and we have a lot of links. We deliver the county-wide training for Durham County Council art teachers, so we're really keen to create new partnerships, and if we have a really positive relationship, then we end up working with partners again and again. Building professional relationships as well, and it's great, as I said, to keep in touch with cultural organisations and get involved with a variety of different projects, whether it's a big thing or sending off a couple of students to other events that you've got going on. And finally, professional trust. So knowing with confidence that we're working with a partner or an organisation, and we know that they're super professional and we have full faith in the project. So some things to watch out for, which may make things not as successful. Sometimes group sizes. We've noticed more and more since COVID especially that there's lots of amazing projects out there, but sometimes they can only accommodate 5 or 6 students, and I can kind of see why. But when we've got 27 students in the class, we can't leave 21 people unattended, so we're not able to get involved in a lot of projects that have got really small group sizes. Sometimes taking up too much time can be a reason why we wouldn't engage in a project. If it's going to be all day every day for 2 weeks, we just don't have the time. We just don't have the time to take out of our programme of study. Distance and travel is something too for us to consider. If we can get there on public transport, great. If we can organise a bus, great. We have had places before help us organise buses and things like that. But again, that's something to bear in mind, especially when we have students coming from across County Durham, as a lot of schools will do. Lack of communication. Sometimes if we're not really sure what's going on, then that can be a real kind of red flag for us and any projects. Lack of planning, I guess, kind of ties in with professionalism as well. It's really important that everything's really well planned out and that we're able to really make the most of any kind of sessions, workshops and events. Professionalism, obviously we are working with young people, but you'd be surprised. We've had to make a couple of complaints before when there's been quite significant swearing overheard by students or things like that, and that can happen sometimes, things like that. And lastly, budget. So obviously schools have some budget for some things, or students might be able to pay for some trips, things like that. But that is something that we have to, all schools will have to bear in mind as well. So I think that's about it. I hope that that's been a useful insight into what our day looks like, what we're doing, what our curriculum is, what we're kind of dealing with, and what a successful project or a successful partnership might include. And if anyone does have any questions, then you're welcome to get in touch and some details might be passed on. But yeah, thank you very much.